Horizon.
Horizons.
Horizons. Sorry.
So I'm just joking. It was getting wrong.
How do you feel about your performance tonight? Did it go as you expected?
It felt good. Felt positive.
Yeah. How did you?
Good vibes.
How do you feel the audience connected to it?
It's difficult audience at nights like this because most of the people in the audience were producers themselves. So there's sort of like there's as much of an appreciation of what you're doing from a technical perspective, and a little bit of vibe, obviously. But it's not like a club crowd, right, where everyone's just there to have fun. So it's a little bit different. But I love these kind of nights. Very intimate, really good stuff.
What kind of vibe were you trying to create, and what was the vision behind it?
Oh, in this particular selection, I would say mostly to get some. I tend to sort of dig into those Mediterranean kind of party atmospheres. I find it quite easy to connect with people if you start off on that foot. So that's what I went for.
And do you feel that worked? The audience felt
I think so. I think so. Very small audience, as I said.
Yeah. Was it only your own music that you produced that you played tonight?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah,
100%.
always. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, most of the time. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Most of the time. I've been producing and releasing records for a while now, so I've got a big sort of selection of tracks to pick from.
Okay, good. And was the entire set already pre-organized, or did you improvise?
No,
something?
not really. I came on stage with an idea of what I sort of how I wanted to structure it, but then depending on what has been played before me, I change it all up at the last second, basically.
Also reacting to the crowd and seeing how they respond?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Would you like to talk a little bit more about the creative process when you're producing, and where you get sounds from, and what's going through you when you're actually creating something?
That's impossible to pinpoint, right? The creative process is creative because it's not structured, right? It can start from a sample that I'm curious about. Maybe I'm listening to the radio and there's a sample that catches my attention, and I record it, even just on my phone, and that's the start of the thought process. Some other times I write chords at the piano, I might write some vocals on the piano, and then transfer that onto a track on a drum track. And then sort of things evolve from there. And at the times I like to sort of play with sound design a little bit, so I might dig into a few sounds that I find deep and sort of giving that ambient vibe, and it evolves from there. But there really is no set process at all.
Do you always think about the audience when you're creating?
100%. Obviously, 100%. Yeah, I come from a non-DJ music background. I used to be a musician, so that connection with the crowd, that live set as a sort of like a performance on stage, that's always with me. That's always with me. It's always a performance. Can you say a little bit more about that? So performance on stage is always with you. How is that part in your creative process? What is exactly? What does that mean? So, what I find if your sets are sort of static, as in even if you pick good tracks and you've got really good productions, but if your sets are sort of linear without sort of a narrative to them, that doesn't tend to excite the crowd, doesn't tend to connect with the crowd. You might have them for half an hour maybe, but that's not gonna hold them on the floor dancing, having fun for maybe 1, 2, 3 hours. Okay. And that's always, you always have to think about it like a almost like a theater play. You're on stage and you have to grab their attention, so you have to sort of, you create these ups and downs, these drops, to sort of like keep them hooked, basically.
What did you want the audience to get out of the set tonight, or what do you want to get the audiences in general from your sets or from your production?
Yeah, so tonight in particular I was on the party and excitement side, which is one of sort of like the two main components of my soul when I make music. The other half would be sort of like more, how can I describe it? More intimate, more sort of immersive and inspiring, a bit more melodic. That stems more from my soul what I played tonight stems more from my sort of like social, my sort of like social element, my desire to connect to people and have fun and be positive, be happy.
And the productions that come from your soul, do you share that as well? Is that part of your night sets as well?
Yeah, 100%. I only played one of them tonight. But yeah, my upcoming sort of releases with Patchouli, they're probably going to be on that side, at least in the short term.
Do you want to say a little bit more about the releases that are coming out?
I don't know. Am I allowed?
Yeah.
Okay, so there is
when are they coming up? But also maybe something about the vision behind it.
Right. So there's one I'm particularly passionate about because it's a track I started writing years ago, and it sort of evolved with me over time. And it started off as purely a club-oriented, like 2 a.m. kind of track, and then over time, as I evolved into more sort of musical, melodic vibes, that track evolved with me. So I'm very passionate about that one. It's very close to my heart. Maybe it might not be as effective as an intro, like a presentation track for me, because it's going to be my first release with Patchouli, but because it sits in between these two stages of my life, these two worlds. But it's very close to my heart, very dear to me. So it's my favorite track. It's called Caribou. And then I'm working on another couple of. We're probably going to release maybe a mini album sometime early next year, with a bunch of vocal tracks. And that's gonna have a lot more of the sort of musical elements that are part of my new sort of chapter.
Nice. And so, do you play instruments into the tracks as well?
Yes. I try to play the piano. I try to. So I'm a pianist, and I try to play the piano as much as possible in my tracks. But I find that in a deep house context, that tends to default towards like, your house piano stabs almost, which is not the kind of sound that that represents me. So I'm trying to sort of like evolve this sort of more intimate piano style as part of my club tracks, which is quite rare. You don't hear that very often. And so, I'm still sort of evolving that sound, that language. We'll see where it goes.
Well, we love your sound at Patchouli Deep, and we can't wait to hear more, that's for sure.
Thank you.
Where can we hear you? Do you have any gigs coming up?
So this is the beginning of a new chapter. So we're still hammering it out. These are the very sort of earlier stages. So well, stay tuned. Watch this space. Perfect. You'll know more soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. You guys are a lovely bunch. Really good vibes. Really good feeling. Really good people.
Great.
I can see myself very nicely into this community. Really good stuff.
We feel the same. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Cheers.